Hi y'all, Mike Pease Woodturning. Welcome back to my shop for a quick tip on threading projects where you're turning wood that has some type of prominent grain. Let me give you a close-up of that. Like this Osage orange, and you want the grain to line up. Ideally, you want it to look, something like this. The problem is I've got a gap here, so it can keep on turning. So let me show you how you fix that. We're gonna mount it back on the lathe and make some adjustments. So the trick is you've got to reduce the gap between the top and the bottom, and there's two ways you can do that. You can do that either changing this shoulder, or you can change this. Now, generally, this is the last operation you do because you made this as a jam chuck. You've typically got it on your lathe. You've finished off the top of the lid, so you don't have a real good way of chucking the lid. Uh, the, uh, but you know, problem is in this case, both of them are off the chuck. But this is the other way to adjust it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this around and put it in a jam chuck. And I keep a drawer full of these various scraps of wood for jam chucks, so I can reuse them. And I'm going to use a piece of pine that had a big thread on it. And I'm just going to take that thread out and make it fit. So let's first do a quick measurement. Use my compass or dividers, and it's going to be something like that, and I can see that I'm only about 1/16 of an inch off each side. So I'm going to use my box scraper, and we're just going to come in at a very slight taper. All right, and let's just kind of round that end over a bit. So I've got this bumping in the bottom, preventing it from fitting. So let's get in there with a small bowl gouge. You can see that bulge there, so let's just come in there and clean that out. And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and drill a hole in the bottom just in case the thing gets stuck. I can push it out the back end. I'm going to shift from 3/8 to a half. And now I can see the hole, so we're good. Now let's see if we don't have a little better fit. Okay, still a little bit large. And this side, it's too big. So let's start that taper again. And we got to take our time. There we go. We're getting close. A little bit more. And looks like I've overshot it. Wow. Okay, but that's all right. I got plenty of wood. So what do? We just take our gouge, take this off some. And continue that taper. Leave room for that feature at the bottom. Okay. We're getting close now. A little bit spongy. Got kind of a rough edge there. And let's see if it doesn't take care of it. I want to make sure it registers so I get a even shoulder. Well, that looks pretty close. I may just take this and just tap it a little bit here. Figure out where it's coming in the most. So let's just use this as a reference and see if I can see where I've got a little extra tapping to do. It's pretty close. That's running pretty true. I think that'll be okay. And I'm going to, in this case, I'm just going to fine tune this a little bit. So I'm going to use my skew as a negative rake scraper. Just slightly incline it just a little bit. And take that wall down a little bit. But this is not a real strong hold in this chuck, so I've got to kind of be gentle with it. And I'm just going to come in here and just very slightly raise this tool rest up just a little bit. Now these are 16-inch threads. I only have somewhere around 3/4 of an inch to bring it in. It's only 3/4 of an inch off, so it's 3/4 of a 12 TPI. I'm not going to have to do the math. I'm just going to check it. So now let's check it. And I've got a little bit of a crack I can use as a reference. It got sealed. Here's the crack here. See if I can find it here. Ooh. Oh, I've lost that reference. There's a dark spot there. There's a. Alright, so this is kind of tricky finding that grain match. I should have marked it on the outside before I put it in here. There's a kind of a dark, that's that part there. So it looks like I'm about halfway. Yeah. See if I can find any other reference. There's the dark spot here. Dark spot. I've got a little about a third of the way. Fortunately, I made this bead fairly thick. Now, this doesn't have a burr on it. Let me put a burr on it. So I'm just going to do that by stroking it up. Feel a very slight burr. Feel where that burr is. Third of an inch is not a third. 1/3 the way around is not a big adjustment left. That's where it fit before. Still a bit off. Let's see if I can see where that adjustment is. Let's find that crack. Here's the crack on the top that didn't really show very well, and there's the crack on the bottom. So I got it jammed up in there once. I ought to be able to get it jammed up in there again. So here's the crack. Here's the crack. Still about a third of the way. Tight threads. So I think what I want to do is just put a little piece of tape on here to help mark where that crack is. I think I'll put the tape on the inside. Yeah, I'll put the tape on the inside, and that'll show me the crack on that side. So let's get this back in here. That's running very true. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's go back to fine tune it a little bit more, and then like any other box fitting, just a little bit of trial and error. Trial fits and adjustments. And then I need to round over this outside to get that bead back round. And probably want to touch that up with a little 240. Now the easiest way to solve the grain match problem is use contrasting wood, which is the way I do it on my acorn boxes. And when I was finishing this, I tightened it on so tight I could not get it loose no matter what, even with a strap wrench. And I want to show you an extra bonus tip that'll help you on not only possibly on threaded projects, but also on slip fit boxes. If you get one, and maybe with slip fit box, it becomes it's a seasonal thing. You pick up an old box and it won't come loose. What you do, and this worked great for me, is I simply put the box into a plastic bag, left it in a freezer overnight, and then I could release it with my hands. I don't know why it works. If somebody's got an answer, leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, it would be helpful to me if you click on the like button to make it easier for other wood turners to find my video. I'm here to teach and inspire, and if that's something you're interested in, you're not already a subscriber, click on the subscribe button below, and your comments and questions are important to me, so post them as well. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back, you hear?